Hello, welcome back. I'm at an undisclosed site. Place I've only checked out briefly previously. It's near an industrial estate where I live. I'm not saying where because I might want to come back here. Probably will want to come back here. And just here to try out some, have a look around, try out some equipment, do a bit of a comparison between different types of portable shelters. Try out my new hammock. Well, new old hammock. It's the same as the one I had previously that I ruined. So, I'm going to get to the top of this hill, have a look around. And this overlooks quite a large area. I am hoping to come back here for a semi-wild camp. There's plenty of brambles, plenty of open space, plenty of twizzlers. These, you see the things here? It's quite a nice place and it's a nice day. I got the day off, but I've got to take my wife to an appointment later this afternoon, so I have to be out of here by 2 and in the car and gone, which I hope actually is going to be all right where it is. I was going to walk down, but I got delayed. My own fault. Very nearly didn't come. Glad I came. Is there anywhere at all that the yobs don't find? Let me know, please. That's been there a long time. There's moss on it. Something I don't. The hell is that? Like a steering rack, is it? Yep. Like an old consumer unit. What on earth? Right, well, I think it's safe to assume no one's coming this way. So, yeah, this looks as good as any. Found some trees, that'll do. Not entirely level, but doesn't really have to be. Right, we might as well get cracking then. Camera down. This is the age of the train. Probably all thinking that bloke's a nutter. Probably right. Kneeling mat. Right. Right, I think we'll start with the hammock because this is probably going to be the most fun, if you know what I mean. I got myself some nicer straps. Here we are. Yes. See, they've got these looped intervals around the top of it, so it should be easier to strap to a tree. I'm hoping these trees are sturdy enough. I'm not putting too much weight in that, though I am pretty weighty. Boom boom. So shall we start? Hopefully you enjoy that sight, ladies and gentlemen. That's a Northern Rail train. You don't see them very often. See how I had to couple my cordage together. It's not particularly well done. It's just for demonstration purposes. But for the £25, I'm quite happy with that. I paid a couple of pound, well, about £3.80 or so, £4, something like that. It was part of a deal from, you can guess where, Temu, before I stopped using Temu. But yeah, so for 25 quid, even if you just use it in the garden, that's good. I mean, that's perfect for summer, a warm day like this, spring day, probably the best day we've had so far. It's lovely. Yeah, I'm low enough I can get my shoes on. I mean, this is how I like camping. Not too high up. Just off the ground. Low enough I can sit like this, so I don't need to bring a chair. I put my stuff to cook there. And here it comes again.
That bloke's a nutter.
Right. Ooh. Stinky train is on. This one is the flagship, as you might say. Right. There we go. There we go. That's pretty quick, isn't it? This is where the one comes here. Right along the top, there's a sleeve, and each end there's an eyelet. A brass eyelet. Well, probably steel actually, but make it look brass. And it hooks in there. And it hooks in there. And now we take our great big pegs. That's it, there's no guidelines. You could prop that up if you wanted to, I dare say. There's tassels there. And likewise, there's tassels on the inside for the hook net. There we are. There she is. Right. Good. Two nice little air vents here, each side, with a bit of Velcro to let air in. That's a good length.
You may say I've got an obsession about double entendres. Well, I admit it. I've got a big one.
There's a fair old bit of space in there. I'm just going to put my feet to the very bottom, so I'm touching. I am here, so I've got at least the length of my cap between me and the top of the bivvy. So yeah, it's pretty wide enough. I think if you were a tall man or a tall lady, you might struggle a bit. I'd say 6 foot, 6'1", absolute most. It is not bad for someone my size. I'll say if you are taller than 6 foot, you're going to struggle with this one, really. So I'm just going to put my shoes back on, put the top down again, and I'll put the next one out next beside her. Next out the bag we have the tunnel bivvy. Now this one is sorry, I'm just making sure. This one costs, all in all, about, I'll put the prices up on the screen. I think I paid £39.19 for this one. Because that one was just a tad below £50, including delivery. And when this was delivered, it came in a bag, a grey plastic bag. No protection whatsoever. So the elastic band I put on. This is a twin hoop. Once again, you get what you pay for. Tiny 3mm pegs. Not good. Poor show, really. Poor show. Oh, anyhow. There we are. Change the camera angle a little bit. Now, I'm not pegging this one out just yet. We got two hoops. They're almost the same as those. Incidentally, I forgot to tie the sides on that one. We'll get back to that. Two hoops, a large and a small. Little and large. One for the bottom, one for the top. Start at the bottom. I'm sure somebody will find a double entendre in that one. I'm tempted to say this is a copy of the Trespass Bivvy, which is quite popular with stealth campers and motorcycle campers, wild campers, hiking, that sort of thing. Here we are. Yeah, that's not bad. It's a good length. It's longer than that one. So out push, you're a bit taller, you might want to go for that. But I think what's hobbles that one really is the length. Right, do you want to have a look in? Shall we have a look? The zips aren't particularly brilliant either. They're quite cheap. It is very cheap. Some of the seams are straining. Yeah. So it is pretty taut there. I'm just going to hop in. I'm not going to take, yes, I'm going to take my shoes off. Again. Thing we do for around there. If you've got something back in there, I'd have this open. Oh. There, feet touching the bottom now. I'm right down at the bottom. My head is here, and I've got that much space. The air vent is right on top of you, and see that, you probably saw there, the cover, the zipper entrance, hits you in the face when you open it. There's not a lot of room in there. I've got about a hand width to the top of the reach the canvas on the inside. The lid on my side, so if you've got your sleeping bag, it's going to be in contact with that corner. And then you've got a sleep mat in there. If you don't mind sleeping with the net open, which is what I did to try and avoid condensation, it's not too bad. But yeah, you will get hideous amount of condensation in there. So if you've got time to dry your bag in the morning, I'd take it. Turn this inside out, let it dry in the sun for a few minutes. Yeah. It's what you'd expect for the money. Some of the seams are a bit taut. I wouldn't say it was overly waterproof. I always use it in concert with a tarp anyway. So, yeah. It's that's a close fit, everybody. That's a real close fit. The final item in the trio is a little coffin tent. Now, you may have seen this before. I used it 3 times now. Most recently at the A1 flyover bridge camp on my roundabout revisited camp on the M1 at Parlington, and at my nature camp at Pontefract Park. And it's quite neat. I like it. Not a lot. Let's move some of this away. This is probably the most fragile, but at the same time the lightest of all 3 showers. Do this one, and I have to really think about getting ready. This one, however, has a few wee flaws. You will need trees or something, trek poles, in which to hold this up. But it is by far the easiest and the smallest of these 3. smallest pack size, the narrowest width. There's just enough room for an airbed in there. A very small airbed. Well, how would you define it as? If you're backpacking, this might be one for you if you don't mind being outside when you're not sleeping. And it's only for sleeping. There's no other space in it, but there isn't for any of them really. It is simply what it is. Something to keep the rain off. Once again, if you were camping out in the setting up, I would clear the ground a bit more thoroughly. Use a ground sheet protector. Right, here we are. That was snagged on there. 2 guidelines. And it's up to you how you do this. You can tie them to a tree like this, or a trek pole, or a stout branch if you stick it in the ground. Just used a twig for that. And that is the coffin tent. Very, very lightweight. You saw how small that was. Now, I would recommend if you're using this, that's your mist. This is probably shower proof at best. So a tarp over the top, flying tarp or a baker style. Whether you could probably say it's a bivvy bag or not is debatable. But on a good night, I don't think you'll need a tarp. Unless you put it on to cover you over. You put some scrim net over that, which I don't have time to do, unfortunately. And you could be pretty low profile. It's annoying really, because putting a big tarp over it and some scrim net is what I really want to do. But there you go. Anyway, well, let's have a look inside. It's not the world's best construction. That's why I'd say use a, let's twist that a minute. I would say use a ground sheet with this, but it is fairly comfortable. Again, I'd say 6 foot at the very most, and be conscious of the fact that this will condensate. In fact, it condensated less than the tunnel bivvy there. There was some condensation in this one, but it wasn't anywhere near as bad thanks to the dual air vents that would do at least stay open. In terms of value for money, this was fantastic. This was £17 delivered. I'm saying it's really just a glorified bug net. The material, showerproof, best, very best. You need a ground sheet with it, such as that one I threw over there. Ignore that there, that was this rubbish in the background. That's been there when I arrived. As you can see, it does annoy me, but hey ho. Anyway, yeah, that's not bad actually. I've used this probably the most out of all 3 because it's lightweight. Right over there with the trek pole. My second camera. I just tied off that branch. You will need something to tie these on. You will need something. Or at the very most, you can just climb in it and zip up if you don't mind having it in contact with you. like that. So it's up to you really which you prefer to do with these. Which would you prefer? Ultra light, ultra primitive, expensive, well made, and the blatant copy, a budget copy. 3 generic bags. Now, so I've showcased all 3 of them at least once. So the tunnel bivvy I think I've used twice. One as an alternative to my hammock, which I managed to get wrong, but that was because I was drunk. Yeah. So I'm going to pack up now because it's about 12:30. It's going to take me about an hour to do that. And then I've got to get back down to the car. That's another half an hour. Yeah, I'm running out of time. So I'll get back to you when everything's packed up. Right, that whence we came. Making our way out now. Right, I'm almost back at the car. So if I don't see you before, I'll see you in the next adventure. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit the notifications button. Toodaloo. Good morning.